Hello, ladies. Welcome to Wake Up Wednesday. It is Q&A week, and Ambar is here this week with a question that has to do with mothering, which is so potent because we're approaching Mother's Day this weekend. Ambar, when I got this question from you, I started digging in and feeling into our conversation. I got so excited, and I think that you ladies watching are going to be so excited about this too. So let me tell you quickly about Ambar, and she'll go right into her question so you know what we're going to be speaking about today. And first, let me say happy upcoming Mother's Day. And happy Mother's Day to even those of you who don't have actual little human babies. Maybe you have fur babies. Your business might be your baby right now. You might be birthing something else into the world or have already birthed something into the world, a mission or a relationship, or all of us are mothers in some way, nurturing a creation and giving that energy. So this conversation today is going to apply to all of you, and I want to wish you and honor that happy Mother's Day energy wherever you are. All right, so Ambar. Ambar and I met. She is a graduate of Mentor Masterclass, an alumni, and we worked together for a whole year inside the program, and she's actually in the new iteration of that currently, the Mastery Sisterhood, which is allowing her to go through the program already as a master coach and get the next layer of sisterhood and implementation. So Ambar is a wife, mama, self-care coach, and stress relief specialist who works with moms who are struggling with anxiety. She teaches her clients natural ways to relieve stress so that they can stop feeling guilty about taking time for themselves and enjoy more time with their children. I also want to note that while Ambar was in Mentor Masterclass, she was discovering her niche, and I was pregnant and had my baby during the time that she was in the program and actually had the experience of being coached and receiving Ambar's coaching. So I know what an asset she is around this transition and around the themes, struggles, challenges, joys that come up in motherhood. And I know this question, Ambar, is a really potent question that we all struggle with. So let me pass it over to you. What do you want to ask today?
Yay. So thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here. And it's just so nice to reflect back on that time when we were really both new moms, you know?
Yes.
So my question is all about business and motherhood. So I have a young daughter. She'll be 3 this summer. And I know that our daughters are very close in age. So I know that you know firsthand that raising a little one really requires a lot of time and energy and devotion. And then also I'm working to grow my business, and growing a business also requires a lot of time and energy and devotion. So in a sense, they're really both our babies, right? So my struggle is that sometimes I feel like I'm being pulled in opposite directions. So for example, I'll be playing with my daughter, and instead of being fully present with her, I'll be just thinking about all of the things that I need to get done for my business. Or vice versa, I'll be spending an afternoon just, working away at my computer, and I'll hear my husband and my daughter downstairs just laughing, and I'll feel like I'm really missing out on quality time with them. So my question to you really is, how do you balance being a successful business owner with being a devoted mother? Because it really seems like you are rocking it at both.
Thank you. So excited to talk about this with you. And also I want to honor that you are also rocking it at both, and also want to just send a quick gratitude for this work in the world, because like I said, whether we have actual human babies or our baby feels like our business right now, and then we're juggling that with our relationship with our lover or taking care of our elderly parents, we all have these struggles of these places where we want to be giving our love and nurturing. And when you add the element of a mission and work that is you and that you're aligned with in the world, the struggle becomes more real, because it's not necessarily the same as a day job or a job that you can shut off or leave at the end of the day, because your business is your baby too. And this is probably what people with multiple children struggle with, like giving them the right attention. We'll talk about that when we have 2 babies, if we ever do. So thank you for bringing this question, and I'm really passionate about talking about this because I have been working this and walking my talk in this in my life, and really looking to be honest with myself and heal that energy, because it sucks. It sucks to not be able to enjoy either thing because you're conflicted. And so that really is the center of this. It's that conflicted energy, I think, that causes the distortion and the confusion and the lack of being able to be present. And I love that for coaches, we get to study coaching techniques. And you know, Amber, I geek out about coaching techniques. And that's because I really use the technique I want to remind you of that you learned in Mentor Masterclass and teach the women here. This is the technique I use most often to heal that distracted energy or that guilt or shame for not being able to be immersed in either. So, we in Mentor Masterclass, we learn a tool that is called a triad. It's about the 3 parts of our brain that really make up our ability to focus. And that is built on our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions. And in Mentor Masterclass, you remember we learned them as like our thoughts are the part of ourself that's like very human, that scholarly part of ourself, whereas our emotions are like the puppy dog. They just like cause that natural reaction. We can't help it. It just immerses from us. And our actions are more reptilian, like a snake, where like we react to a situation. And what I find for us when we're juggling having a business and being a mom is that if our focus gets off, and we don't give a lot of space to think through consciously those 3 areas, then there is no focus. And that is why we cannot focus with our baby girls or with our baby business, because we haven't created enough boundaries around creating the space. And it's, when I say boundaries, we fall into like, I'm busy as a mom. I have a lot of obligations. There's lots of things I need to do in my business. And we set priorities for what we think is most important for those things. But what falls aside is the actual space for the intrinsic reflection around these 3 areas of our life, our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions, and how they're fitting together. And this is detrimental to us, because when we start to identify with when I have time, I just need to use it to do the things, instead of creating strong boundaries around space to think through these areas, that's where we start to falter. I'll give you another example with this. The other thing about motherhood is it is very hard to look ahead, especially if it's your first business and your first baby, you think you know what you're going to want. And what happens is that changes. And that's where we get out of misalignment, because we give ourselves the space to define what we think we want and what our priorities and values are. But then we don't check in consistently enough, and it changes, and we're still trying to hold to that first thing we thought we wanted. Here's an example. When I was running my business and got pregnant, I thought I was going to want 6 months of maternity leave. I thought I'm really going to want to give myself a full 6 months. Sorry, the opposite. Okay. I thought I was going to want 3 months of maternity leave, and that I was going to be able to jump back into my work slowly but surely, and it would be easy. And so I set up this whole plan and structure because I felt into my priorities. I felt into my values, my emotions and thoughts about being a mother and running a business, and thought it's important to me to give space to both. I feel confident and comfortable with that. Then I had my baby, and after 3 months, logistically, I wasn't ready to go back full into my work. And it was not updating at that moment in time my true thoughts, emotions, and actions, and checking in with them to see if they're aligned, where I started to falter a bit, because I wanted to hold to that original idea that I had 3 months before. And then I have the opposite experience with a client. I had a client who thought she wanted 6 months and set herself up for 6 months of maternity leave. And then after 3 months, she was ready to get back in, but she kind of wanted to force herself to take the 6 months, right? So this is why this is important for us to talk about, because motherhood requires you to be in feminine energy. It requires you to switch course It requires you to kind of set up structures that are safe, that you can lean into, that are masculine, but be able to check in and switch course and quickly tune into your thoughts, your emotions, and actions, and adjust your decision in the moment. So I think that might be what's happening for you, Amber, is that maybe you've given some space to think about, because you know as a coach that our values and our priorities are so important to know as a mother and a business owner, because if you're living out of alignment with your values or trying to trick yourself into prioritizing something that's really not aligned, that's when it gets really dark in trying to do both. Because if you really value the early stages of childhood and being present with your daughter, and that is most important to you, when you scan out 5 years and 10 years and you look back and you know, I will regret not having that present time with my baby. And then you try to force yourself to say that work is important and you care about your mission. It's never going to feel good being with your baby or doing your work because you're not living in alignment with your values. So hopefully the women watching, you're at a point in your self-discovery enough to know the importance of sitting down and asking yourself, what are my thoughts about this that really lead to what you think is your priority? And then pairing that with your emotions. What do you truly value? What is most important to you? Because then you can make a decision that will stand as the foundation when you're asking that question, should I be downstairs with my husband and baby while they're laughing, or should I keep on working on this program that I'm trying to get out this month? And in that moment, if you have already given yourself the space to journal or talk through with a coach or a sister and friend, your reasoning for working while you have this baby, or your reasoning for putting all your love and effort into your work and not having a baby yet, or not being with your partner on vacation because you have this launch going on, you'll be able to say, no, because I know that 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, I want to have both. When my child is a teenager and going into middle school, I don't want to let my mission be gone for all those years. So it's important that I maintain a healthy relationship with it and let it grow and nurture that too. So see, in that moment, if you had already thought through that and that was truly a value and priority for you, you would say, I'm good sitting at my desk. Let her have time with her dad. Like my business, and you could do it with, I have chills thinking about it because you would feel it's aligned. But if truly you don't give a shit about that mission at the end of the day, and you would look back and feel like you wish you were downstairs, it's not the time to be launching your business, and that's okay. And so that's the foundation, right? Is like giving yourself the space to ask yourself those questions. What do I really want? What do I really value? What is my priority? But then here's the key ahead of time. You actually have to let yourself feel into the actions of that it would take to prioritize that thing. Like you said, if you ahead of time, if you think, okay, what would it mean for me to be building my business while also being a mother and having a child that's 3 years old? What's that really going to look like to do both? If I prioritize making space for my business, there's going to be moments where my daughter's downstairs with my husband and I can't be there. What's my emotional response to that? How does that feel? And so you can feel into that ahead of time so you can set up structures and prepare yourself. But the most important piece is your ability in the moment to navigate and use your intuition to see, are you still in alignment? Or is this something I set up 3 months ago, and now that I'm in it, I'm recognizing this isn't working, it's not feeling aligned? Because the point is not to just power through that moment with a broken heart, feeling like something's wrong and forcing yourself to sit at the computer and not go down and be with them, right? It's in that moment, can you check in, use your intuition and your knowledge of what your thoughts are, your emotions, and your actions, and then say, am I in alignment right now? Is this still true? Is this still what I want? If not, what is off? And that piece helps heal any guilt or shame because you're really tuning into your values and your priorities in the moment and checking for alignment. And I think that's the piece where we get most off. We're taught this paradigm of masculine structure, where once we set something up, you set it up. You ask your husband, can you watch her at this time? I'm going to go do my work. Then you get up there and something's feeling off. Our nature from our society is to say, no, you power through whatever you're feeling and you just get this shit done. Because this is what you said you were going to do. And it's not holding space for the reflection around really giving ourselves the ability to focus, which again goes back to that core coaching technique. What am I thinking? What's my priority here? What's my emotional response right now in the moment? What can I learn from it? And what action can I take right now? And sometimes that might mean that you work yourself through that emotional moment and you realize you're in the right space. And sometimes it may mean I have to cancel all my appointments today. I can't show up for this thing because I'm not in alignment with this. And I need to trust my soul essence, the power of my heart, and go downstairs right now. And that's the right thing to do. And I think that you have to practice that to fine tune it and give yourself permission and empowerment to trust your intuition and to know what you want. And as mothers, we're so good at taking care of everybody else that we get out of practice of knowing what we want and then honoring that. And so I want to pause, Amber, because that was a lot of information and I want to see, how's that feeling? What's really standing out to you? Are there any questions or things that are like, okay, but how do I move with that? Curious to know what you're thinking.
Yeah, so first I had like a little light bulb go off when you mentioned the triad of the thoughts, feelings, and actions, because I feel like looking at it kind of big picture, I haven't really been doing that. Like I've kind of been trying to just power through and do what I've been doing, where I have like these pockets where my daughter's in daycare certain days and those are my work days and I have to get it done during that time. Or, like this is my time to play with my daughter. And so what if I'm like really getting an inspired idea right now? This is like playtime.
Yes.
So yeah. So like that's really helpful to think about it as like, am I in alignment right now? And how could I move forward in a way that really reflects my values and what I want for my life, big picture, not just in this moment.
I love the examples you gave because that's exactly it. So that's what we do as mothers because there's so much we're taking care of that we do need to lean on creating some masculine structure. So it's saying she goes into daycare, that's my time, or she's home, that's my time with her. And I definitely am guilty of this. I love masculine structure. Wednesday are my days with Violet. I have six hours a day where my nanny's here during the week. And that's when I had to rework this. And I really learned it because I was really starting to lean into the masculine too far and let that be my guide. And it's exactly what you mentioned. It's maybe she's with Tracy, my care partner for her today, but I miss her and want her. Maybe I paid Tracy $25 an hour and I want to send her home early and I still have to pay her, but that's because my heart says I want to be with her. I'm allowed to do that, and I can trust my intuition and let my heart lead. And it might be a Wednesday and we're at the playscape and I'm immersed with Violet and all I want to do is work. It's okay to not do that or to like let her play but be on my phone that day and not be as present because I've got to get those ideas out. Or maybe I come home and I'm like, you know what, Tracy, can you come tomorrow? Or babe, can you take her right now because I'm having an idea in my business? And it was that shift of honoring, being able to not only take the plan that I set up ahead of time around my thoughts, emotions, and actions, but take that coaching technique and use it in the moment and shift gears right there because that's the power of the feminine. The feminine says there's room for a little chaos. I can change things up. I can respond to my environment, feel in, and know what's right here. And I think as mothers, that's our natural inclination. That's actually like the more feminine you are, which motherhood brings out so much feminine energy, whether again, your baby is your business that you're mothering, your relationship is something that you're mothering in your life, or your human baby. I think that's the shift we need in society as women, is to say it's okay to not show up the way I said I was going to, and I'm still powerful, intuitive, doing the right thing, and everyone else is okay too, and to give yourself permission to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I keep hearing is like, give myself permission to do what I know is right for me.
Right. And then you can have the space to focus,
Mm-hmm.
and then the focus is okay. You realize, oh, I can actually be focused on June and be focused on my business at the same time. And I don't have to be one or the other. And I think that's important for us too, to be in wholeness. That's where our sovereignty comes from, not trying to compartmentalize the aspects of our life.
Totally. And then the other thing that I wanted to just point out that really stood out to me is how you said that give ourselves permission to change and grow. Cause I think much like our children are like always changing and evolving and growing and going into different stages, like our businesses are kind of doing that too. Mm-hmm. So we just have to be willing to just kind of evolve and grow along with both of them.
Yes, that is a key point. And that's the thing that's been more of a challenge for me, is really allowing myself to say, okay, for the past 2 years of Violet's life, I have loved having my business, a huge business and a team, and being a mom. But maybe that changes next year. Maybe next year I'm sick of running my business and I really want a full year when she's 3 to dig in with her. Maybe it's going to change when she's a teenager and I actually don't want to be as involved and really want to amp up a lot of my energy into my business. I don't know. I have a lot of ideas about what I think I want to be like as a mother, what I think the balance is going to look like. But you're right. We have to set maybe reminders for ourselves to check in. And I think consistently, at least every 3 months, because you're right. That's where we really falter, because we just kind of lean on, oh, the last time I checked in and gave myself space to work with a coach or a journal or honor this is what it was. And I've noticed that it shifts and changes. And so what I do in that is I have had moments where I'm like, fuck it, I'm done with my business. I can't do all of this, So what I don't shift everything. What I say is okay, I'm going to be aware of that. And the next time I check in, is that still true? So it doesn't mean we have to be totally chaotic and be shifting things every 3 months, right? But it would be great to be aware and to track that. And if if every 3 months I'm checking in, or every week I'm checking in, and for weeks and months I'm coming up against the same thing, okay, it's truly time to adjust my priorities and shift course. And that's the part where lean into sisterhood, have a mentor, support yourself, because those shifts are challenging. We want to kind of keep things the same way that we've done them. And it's in the shift that we evolve into the next space of focus and expansion in our lives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this has been so helpful. I'm I can't wait to get my journal out.
Good. That's what I was hoping to inspire all of us to remember, and to put just better boundaries around as mothers of our business and mothers of our babies, or whatever that other thing is for you guys that you're conflicted between. The strongest thing is boundary around space to ask yourself these questions and really think, what are my priorities and my thoughts? What do I truly value? And really get to the honesty and look at it with scrutiny. Is that really true? Is it really what I value? And then what's my emotional response to this? And also let me forward think, if I was honoring those priorities, how would it feel in the moment? So I can really check in, are these priorities true? And then what are the actions that I'm called to take as a result of this? What will that look like? And then forward thinking, but taking that same tool, that same coaching technique with you into the moment when you're feeling it, when you're starting to feel conflicted or something's off or out of alignment, just quickly, without pulling out your journal, being able to go, what's my priority? What do I value? How do I feel about that? Is it aligned? Am I going to continue course with the actions that I'm taking, or do I need to shift something? And that brings you to focus. So then, you can go right back to being present with your baby and knowing you're doing exactly the right thing, or present with your business, or in the moment shifting gears because you giving yourself permission to do something different than you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amber. Anything else that you want to share about this or with the women watching?
I guess I just want to really tell everybody to just give themselves permission to be exactly where they are at, and trust that they know what's best for themselves and their children and their businesses.
Thank you, Ambar. It's such a perfect thing for you to be working the edge of in your life because your work is around anxiety and really nestling into your balance as a mother. I also want to tell everyone watching that this interview question went longer because I'm so passionate about this topic, and it has been the work that I've been doing in my personal life for the past 2.5 years, and really trying to pull together resources and healing modalities that help us to work through this relationship to, I think, of captivating feminine leadership. Being able to be a leader intrinsically and extrinsically in our personal lives with our family and in our work, to find the balance between masculine and feminine. And when I think of the word captivate, it's all about being able to be seen and rock these roles in our life at wholeness. So I've created a brand new healer training called the Captivating Feminine Leadership Healer Certification. I'm launching level 1. There's information out about it right now. It's a 2-day in-person training in New York City. And you can find all the information about this if this topic really speaks to you and you want to do some more healing about it within your personal self. That's what we do on day 1. And then day 2, I actually teach you the techniques that I used on you so that you can then take those techniques into your business and with your life, with your clients or with your family members, so that you're not only healing yourself, but you're actually learning how to bring others along in the healing with you if they struggle in this area. And I find what I struggle with, my clients struggle with. And so I'm really passionate about learning the tools not only first to heal, but then to take and offer that healing to others and to know how to navigate that conversation. So for anyone that this speaks to, please check out the training, and I hope to see you and work with you guys in person. Maybe I'll see you there, Ambar.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. I'm like, do I need that?
Yes, come. Thank you for being here, ladies. Ambar and I would love to hear your thoughts. What was the most valuable thing for you from this conversation? What are you committed to moving forward? Do you have any tips or advice, because you've already been doing this in your life, for us and the sisters here? Share that in the comments below, and Ambar and I will meet you there to celebrate and converse with you. Thanks, Ambar. Thank you, ladies. Happy Wednesday. And happy Mother's Day coming up.
Happy Mother's Day.
Do you want to become a confident and masterful life coach? Imagine feeling completely supported by a brilliant sisterhood while you launch your dream business and attain financial freedom. Mentor Masterclass is an all-in life coach training program for 40 women who are on a mission to learn from the best. You can join Mentor Masterclass at the beginning of any new month while spaces are available. Head on over to mentormasterclass.com to learn more about the training and apply now.